Hey John's touchpad. I really hope everything's working and you can hear me. So, hi. Hey John's touchpad. And Sjoerd K. Hi there Sjoerd. Wow, that's a lot of people quickly. Dutchie here. Well, ja, ik ben ook Nederlands, but we're trying to do this in English today. Can hear fine. Well, that's good to hear. I'm using Edwin Broeken. Hoi Edwin. I'm using a really crazy setup. I'll make a video about it at some point, but it involves using IP cameras and soldered together microphone connections, and I think it's working. I have some audio feedback on the stream. I don't see it on my end, but okay, I don't know what to do about it right now. So anyway, welcome to the stream. As I said, this is the first time I'm doing something like this. And basically I just wanted to have a Q&A if you guys have any questions about the videos I made or any subjects surrounding the videos. Oh, there's commercials in my music. That might be an issue. Hold on. But yeah, if anyone has any questions about any videos or topics I covered, let me know and let's discuss them. But yeah, if anyone has any questions about any videos or topics I covered, let me know and let's discuss them. 9 people watching. That's 9 more than I expected. I really have to get used to this delay though. I mean, I see myself on the YouTube stream, so it takes a little bit. I really have to get used to this delay though. So anyone have any questions about computer builds or about LED dimmers or phone chargers or, well, any subject really? Just let me know in the chat. Any subject really. Just let me know in the chat. Any minute now. Have I done USB over Ethernet? Yes, I have. I've used the HDMI extenders, but the USB over Ethernet that goes with those little boxes is basically only USB 1.1, and anything you can get to work is either a keyboard or a mouse, and even that is pretty sketchy. So I wouldn't recommend using those. I've used those little dongles, which basically put the USB signal on Ethernet cable. Those work okay-ish, but I've only been able to get about 5 meters out of those. And then I just recommend getting an active USB extension cable. I'll have that in a video later on this year. But if you want to have something that really works, you need to get a pretty expensive solution, and USB over Ethernet is difficult. So yeah, keyboard and mouse you can get to work, but other than that, it's very tricky. And especially if you use something which uses IP, you get a lot of delay. So. Okay. Any other questions? This is a Q&A, so you know. Hi there, Pascal. Standard. Hi. Belgium. Well, I guess most of my viewers are Dutch then, or at least the viewers I'm seeing. So. Oh, okay. Oh, wait, I know why that is, probably. Let me fix that. There. I think that should take care of the audio delay issue. Thank you, Stefan. Hi from USA. Nice. Is your home rack filling up nicely? Will there be some new additions? Actually, I have that 12 strip PoE injector bar, and that's full because I'm using 5 access points and well, more than 7 cameras nowadays actually. So I will either add another one of those 12 strip gigabit PoE injector bars, or I might get a PoE switch actually. Microtik released some interesting models recently, and I've been looking at that, and if budget permits, I might get one of those. Let me show you. Greetings from Tilburg. Hi, my brother lives in Tilburg. Let me show you. See if that works. It's a good test, I guess. Sorry, I've just been made aware that you couldn't hear me. Let me fix that real quick. Okay, so let's see. I'm hoping you can now hear me and also see my screen. Is that correct? Let me know in the chat. Come on, chat people. Yes, yes. Mini view from you. Well, yeah, I'm not the most important subject. Anyway, as I was explaining, but nobody could hear, this is a Microtik and one of the newer switches they have. It's a cloud router switch. And basically what this type number means is you have 24 ports gigabit PoE. 4S means it has 4 SFP plus slots, and RM means that it's a rack mount version. So if you ever wondered about these strange type numbers or product numbers, that's basically how it works. But this is a 24 port 802.3 AF and AT, so it can deliver about 30 watts per port PoE switch with 4 SFP plus slots for like DAC cables or fiber or 10 gigabit, etc. And well, I've been looking at that, and yeah, that might replace my PoE injector bar, or I might add a second one. So I'm not sure about that yet, but some changes might be coming up to my rack. And if I do, I'll make a little video about it. So let me switch back. Let's hope this all works. Wow, 18 viewers. Okay. Hi. Loud and clear. Wow, I didn't know you did online. Well, this is my first time live streaming, so let's see how it goes. Isn't that pure overkill? Well, isn't that why we do these things? I think the whole rack I have, it's not. overkill, not overkill. I like it, and it serves a function. So I got a drawing tablet today. Although my drawing sucks, it's nice to have a different way of navigating through Windows for once. Uh, okay, sure. My laptop, it's HP Envy X360, X360. Jesus. It also has a touchscreen, but it's very awkward to use it as a 15-inch tablet. But yeah, it's not overkill. There you go. I do have a Unify system. Way too much for home, but it's fun to play with. Yeah, I use 5 MikroTik WP WAP ACs. They're also dual band AC access points. And well, 5 is a bit overkill maybe, but it has basically it's the same as Unify, but then from MikroTik, and I like it a lot. It's future proof. Yeah, definitely. Everything 10 gigabit is future proofing. I've seen your Proxmox server build. I learned a few new things. Could you please teach us more about servers for newbies? Okay, cool. I might do some videos about that in the future, but make sure to check out the description because especially the 2U server I made some articles about installing Proxmox, some changes I do in the Proxmox installation for the boot devices, and then how I did the ZFS storage configuration is also in there. And there's a separate article which highlights GPU pass-through using Proxmox. So make sure to check that out. And yeah, maybe in the future I'll do some more videos and articles about it. 18 viewers. That's again 18 more than I expected. But welcome. I really appreciate you viewing. Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Otherwise, I could maybe show you some sneak peek of things I've been working on. The NWE NRAM? I honestly don't know what that is. Let me throw that in Google and see what Google says. Google also does not know what that means. Not quite sure what you meant there. Where did my window go? Okay. PD4Z, could you explain better? At the moment, I use 5 cameras at home, mix of 720p and 1080p. I use iSpy software on my desktop PC for recording. Planning to move it to a dedicated system. Any suggestions? Well, I don't know the system requirements for iSpy. Some NVR software uses a lot of resources and other uses very little. As you've been able to see in my most recent IP cameras video, I switched to different software. It's called NX Witness, or in America it's sold as DW Spectrum, I believe, from Watchdog. And that uses very little resources on the server side. You can basically run it off of a Raspberry Pi if you have like 3 or 4 cameras, and it'll work just fine as long as your client PC with which you want to watch the streams has a better processor. But more videos about NVRs and IP cameras and stuff like that in the future. And I also plan to do a sort of mini series about NX Witness. And yeah, just look at the specifications you need for the specific NVR software and then build a box around it. I've actually been looking at, I selected a mini PC from Miele. Let me try and show you. Hold on. There we go. So in my DIY, oh, why is this site not English? Damn it. In my DIY cloud project, I looked for a small server which wouldn't use too much energy, but still had enough performance, or at least more than a Raspberry Pi. And I ended up buying two of these actually. These are Apollo Lake quad-core machines, and if you're looking for something low power, but still has, well, a lot more power than a Raspberry Pi, and for instance, for a small Linux server or something like that, or an NVR, these are very interesting. They have multiple USB 3 ports, so that you could use that as storage, but they also have an internal NVMe drive and an internal 2.5-inch drive slot for SATA disk. So if you go with like 2 terabytes, you could put it in the machine itself, but if you want something bigger, you could use the USB ports. But that's just an example. As I said, you can go from a Raspberry Pi to an 8-core Ryzen server with Proxmox and all kinds of bells and whistles. But it really depends on your needs. A few 1080p cameras shouldn't need that much power. So, okay, let me switch back. So that was for Tali Go. Have you done any UPS videos? No, I've not done any UPS videos. Actually, I don't own a UPS. Here in the Netherlands, power is, well, basically it's dependable. The uptime of power is 99.999% per year. So we don't really need a UPS over here. But I might look into that in the future. Maybe it's new NVRAM. Yeah, I don't know. Quinn LED with switch input. I might show you a bit more about Quinn LED in this video as a sneak preview, because I've been working on some new designs based on an ESP32 with some improvements over the current model. So hold on about that. Hold on. 5 cameras recording on a 4790K uses about 40... What? Okay, if 5 cameras on a 4790K use 45% CPU, I record 8 megapixel 4K cameras on a dual core with motion detection, and it uses about 15% CPU. So download NX Witness or DW's Watchdog Spectrum. Hold on. Spectrum Watch. Let me, yep. Oh, yeah, I know, I just installed it. Go away. Yeah, so NX Witness and DW Spectrum, how did they call it? IPVMS? Yeah. This is basically the same software, but DW Spectrum is the US version, and NX Witness is the version in other parts of the world. But it's basically the same software. But this is very efficient on the server side. So as I said, a Raspberry Pi could easily handle a few cameras. A step up from that could be the Miele box I showed you. This could handle easily. This can easily handle like 8 or 12 or 16 cameras, and if you have more power than that, shouldn't be an issue. So if your NVR software is using that much power, maybe look into getting something else. Nope, I didn't want to go there. Okay. I think he meant NRAM, nano RAM. No, I've never heard about that. Carbon nanotube based RAM. No, that sounds very new. Normally up to date with that kind of stuff, but I haven't seen any rumors about that. Do you have any feelings about the new Apple MacBook, or not a fan at all? I think they make nice hardware and it looks great and there's a lot of engineering effort that goes into it. would you pay for it? A similarly spec'd MacBook, which costs like 2,000 or 2,500 euros, you can get the same hardware from China for about 1,000 euros, or from like HP or Dell for like 1,500. So the Mac tax is about 500 to 1,000 euros. And you get a very sleek and sexy package for that, but the same performance or more can be had for cheaper. So it really depends what you're looking for. If you value the exterior of your device, and oh, a friend of mine is sending me a message. I'll finish my Mac piece here. But if you value the exterior of your device and how it feels and functions and Mac OS X, etc., it might be worth it for you to pay that premium. But if it's more about power and you use Windows anyway, I think they're overpriced. So, yeah, but I don't have anything against Apple. You should add your cats to the stream. Might give you some more viewers. Hey, I have 18 viewers at this moment. That's more than I expected. So, so Stefan, who isn't say, oh, he actually does say something in the chat. Yeah, I'll talk about the upcoming event in just a second. Stefan also sent me a link to his web shop. If you're looking to use NX Witness and you want to, well, basically start with it in the cheapest way you can, NX Witness licenses aren't the cheapest. You can get a starter pack for 8 licenses, and that is a good deal. But if you don't need that many, you can get a basic NVR of them with the licenses included. And he just showed me a link to his webshop, datap.nl, microhive, NVR. I'll paste this in the chat. Hold on. I guess I can do that. It's my chat. There we go. But this is a very small ARM-based, so it doesn't use much power. You can include a 2.5-inch disc. You can build it inside of the chassis. And you get 4 licenses with this. So with the price for the hardware and the software combined, it's a good deal. And yes, it's more expensive than a Dahua NVR, but once you use, or like a Synology or something like that, but once you've used this software, I paid for the license 2 weeks after I tried it out. So that says enough. Okay. Could you tell us more about this great event you say is coming up? Something called Camp Zone. Sounds really cool. Well, as some of you might know, I've made videos about the LAN parties we organized before. And Camp Zone, the build-up starts in a week? 2 weeks? A week. Yeah, I'm going to the field actually this Saturday to test the internet line. Basically, there's a grass field and there's 2 fibers popping up. And each fiber has a gigabit symmetrical on it. And well, I need to test before the event starts if they work. But Camp Zone, yeah. Camp Zone is our yearly event. This will be the 18th edition. Well, we call it Camp Zone 2018, and we started in 2001, I believe. It's a few thousand people. We have a grass field. We put down a 80 gigabit network ring with 10 gigabit client ports and lots of gigabit ports, Wi-Fi everywhere, and we basically build a great campsite where people can come and enjoy their vacation, and they can do their hobby like gaming and stuff like that, but they can also barbecue with friends and join some activities we organize, stuff like that. So if anyone of you is interested in coming, even if you're international, let me know, and yeah, we'll see what we can work out. Because we really value international visitors, and I'd recommend everyone to, yeah, to at least take a look. You can find the website here, and it should be in English and in Dutch. And it's a great event, and if you're looking for something to do in your summer vacation, make sure to give it a look. So let's see what was said. In Tilburg, we had 2 power outages in 10 years' time. Well, 2 power outages in 10 years' time, I'd say that's pretty reliable. I think I I cause more power outages myself than that. So yeah. Nentero NRAM, carbon nanotubes. I've never heard of that. I'm throwing it into Google right now. Memory technology that's incredibly fast. Well, that sounds good. Non-volatile. So it's a competitor for 3D XPoint from Micron and Intel, or Optane is probably people know it. Oh, it's protected by more than 170 US patents. Doesn't look open source to me. But no, I've never heard about it. I'll look into that another. Blah, I can't talk anymore. I'll look into that at another time. Let me take a drink. Have you ever bought an HP laptop from Walmart? No, I don't live in the US. I live in the Netherlands, in Europe, and we don't have a Walmart. But I've been to Walmart. I've been to America 8 or 9 times. But no, I've never bought a laptop there. Thanks for the paste. Sure. I can't. I can tell you don't have it because you spell it Walmart. It's spelled Walmart. Okay. My friend from Germany spelled it the same way. Yeah, Germany's next to the Netherlands, so I can imagine. Is that Stefan from Datop? Cool. Yep, that's him. He's one of the main organizers, like me, from Campzone. So that's why he's spamming it. But that's fine. In Pakistan, they have a schedule. It seems my IP camera is glitching out. Uh, hmm. I told you this was the first time, so if there's any technical issues, yeah. I would like to see you dance. Well, this is a question and answer, not a question and dare show. So, no. 2 power outages in 10 years would be unheard of. Yeah. Yeah, the Netherlands power grid is very good. So UPSs are, in enterprise environments, yes, but at home, yeah, you can basically count on that you always have power. What's the speciality of server RAM compared to desktop RAM? That's a good question. Desktop RAM, let me start over. Server RAM is usually ECC registered memory. What that means is that if the memory develops an error, and basically they call it a bit flip, happens, it has some correcting mechanism which can handle up to a certain amount of faults per certain amount of time and can actually correct for those faults. So a calculation wouldn't make a calculation error like would happen on the desktop, or even the desktop would crash. And that's why they use ECC memory in servers, because it needs to be reliable, or more reliable. And ECC memory can even signal that the memory is degrading or a problem is starting to form before it throws off calculations and makes mistakes. So that's why they use ECC corrected memory. And on desktops, it's basically it's a lot more expensive, and it generates a lot more heat. It uses more power, and that's why server memory often runs a little bit slower. And so that's why we don't use it in desktops. But you can build a desktop, especially if you're building a ZFS server, for instance, and you don't want any data corruption, or and they call it silent data corruption, because if your data corrupts in memory, you won't know, but it'll be written to disk, and then your data is corrupt. And that's why they recommend ECC memory if you're building a ZFS NAS, for instance. Now, I find that a bit overstated, because any other file system will also just write corrupted data if it corrupts in your memory. But basically, if you want to make it 100% sure, or 99.9999, get ECC memory. What brand would you recommend for a laptop? That's a tough one. I've had good laptops from HP, and I have one right now, as I said, the Envy X360, 15-inch, and it's okay. I don't think it's a great wonder or excellent. It's okay. But I've had good ZenBooks from Asus, and I generally like XPS laptops from Dell, and some Lenovo models are also good, depending on what type you're looking for. So yeah, and if you want cheap, check out Xiaomi laptops on geekbuying.com. For about €1,000, you can get a MacBook look-alike, but it's actually very well built and well spec'd. So yeah. Last time I heard about Campzone, it was at Wallaby Grounds. It's Is it less big as it used to be? Sure. We used to be at Walibi, and then we moved to Oorschot, near Eindhoven, for about 7 years, I think. And now we moved to Kronenberg. And Kronenberg is actually the biggest field we've had yet. But the amount of visitors peaked while we were in Walibi. Um, but it fluctuates. Last year we had a 15% increase in visitors. And as it's looking right now, it's looking to grow again this year. So yeah, Camsum can grow, well, not indefinitely, but we can definitely grow. But it's dependent on people who want to come. So check it out. So what's your background? You work in tech. Yeah, I started working in IT around my when I was around 17, and I've worked in IT ever since. I basically work in large enterprise environments, and my focuses over the last 15 years or so have been a bit of Windows, lots of hardware, storage, lots of storage, big enterprise, from small to big. Um, Backup, I've done giant backup installations. If a client had, for instance, 1.5 petabytes of backup of data it wanted to back up every night, I could design a backup solution for you and build it and troubleshoot it and stuff like that. So yeah, hardware, VMware, storage, enterprise level stuff. So that's my background. Do you guys celebrate Friday the 13th? Yeah, we have that superstition here too. I don't know if you could call it celebrating. Oh, Stefan actually answered the Campson question. Can we use Ryzen APU in hypervisor builds? Um, yeah, I don't see a reason why not. I believe it has all the extensions you need. You're just limited to a quad core, I believe, and I like using the Ryzen 8 cores, the Ryzen 7s, but I think you can. Cool. I am too consumed with my own company keeping a campsite. Yeah. Well, it's okay you didn't keep up with Campzone Short, but maybe you can renew your interest. What? Dolly, you cut your hand and had to get 2 stitches? Damn. Friday the 13th struck you hard. Uh, oh, it sucks. I hope it's better now, or at least it's you're not in a lot of pain. My Friday the 13th, yeah, went pretty well. Almost had a snafu on the freeway where someone braked harder than I was expecting. But I drive the Passat, and it helped me braking on time, so no problems there. Technology protected me. Cool. So how long has this stream been? I have no idea. Half an hour. Okay. Package is good up now. Yeah. Take care of that. That doesn't get infected. Yep. Stefan is messaging me. So, oh, I was. Someone asked me about the dimmers. I've actually been working on some new designs. Let me see if I can show you something from that. Do, do, do. I'm actually expecting the new boards I've designed this Monday, but yeah. Otherwise, I'd probably be making a video about those, but no, no, yeah. Do, do, do. Can't really talk. Okay, let me share my screen. Oh, there we go. Okay, I don't think people have. This view is probably a bit complicated. Let me see if this works. There we go. No, this isn't correct. Let me try that again. Yeah. So, I hope the guy who asked about the ESP is still there. This is a 10-channel Quinn LED variant based on the ESP32. I need to see the chat. There we go. Hey Edwin, yeah, well, you visit mostly at CamZone, so but coming to CamZone, hey, it's a way of life, man. So you know. Anyway, so I'm making two new versions of Quinn LED, and I might actually make four in total, but I haven't come around to that yet. So this is based on the ESP32, and it'll be a 10-channel PWM dimmer, and that's one of the big advantages over the former Quinn LED, but it's also a bit bigger, so it's more for central installations. Like, for instance, my Ultimate Overkill desk, for the people who are following that series, it will use about 8 channels, and with my previous design, I would need to use 4 boards, and with this design, I would only need 1 board. Another advantage that it has is that the previous Quinn LED could do PWM at 1000 hertz, and this should be able to do PWM at like 20 or 40,000 hertz. And what that would accomplish is that hopefully I can use PWM LED strips during videos like this. I have my video lights, but being able to use my normal lighting would actually, well, I would like that. So that's something I've been working on, and you should be hearing about more about in the next few months. But CamZone is in the middle of that, so probably around CamZone, I'm not sure I'll make a video in the coming month, but we'll have to see. Probably about CamZone. But yeah, so 10 channels. And, well, if I'm showing you sneak peeks anyway, let me quickly show you another one. There we go. Yeah. So this is another version, and this will actually, well, this is more of an experiment. Well, the other one too. But, this will be a 6-channel digital or LED strip dimmer, and the difference between digital and analog, basically the normal LED strip where you can make the whole strip one color, even if it's RGB, those are called analog LED strips. And this one is for digital addressable LED strips. So each LED can be made a different color or intensity or whatever you want. And I designed this to be used with APA 102 LED strips instead of WS2812B or something like that. It should also work for that. But yeah, and this is all combined with my Ultimate Overkill desk because I'm going to need a lot of LED channels for that. I have some interesting plans on integrating the LEDs. And but more about that during this year somewhere, probably after camp, so when I have the boards and some prototypes soldered up and stuff like that. So more Quinn LEDs definitely coming. And in all of these boards, I'm including headers where you can use one of those headers to use it for a switch or something else. Because using the ESP32, you have a lot more GPIO pins than you had on the other one. The downside though is that it's a lot bigger. So I'm thinking of maybe designing a new module which I won't call Quinn LED but Quinn Sense. And in Quinn Sense you could add a button or a motion sensor and stuff like that. And if you have a Domotica system, it's very easy to link those two together. So enough about that for now, or anyone should have any questions, let me know. But hopefully that explains some of a sneak peek for my plans for Quinn LED. I've been hard at work on it, and yeah, let's see how it turns out. Let me see. Do you watch TechMoan? Yes, I do. I like his channel. Is that Windows 8.1 I see? No, this is definitely Windows 10. Is there any solution for Quinn LED on Windows? The last time, a year ago, I was using an extra VM with Linux on it. Yeah, uh, Quinn LED basically accepts netcat input. So if, let me show you something. There we go. I'll make that a bit bigger. So basically, if you use a batch file and you put NC, that's netcat, the Windows version, you can download that. You can just make a batch file which says, well, this, and with that you can control your dimmers from command line, even on Windows or Linux or whatever, really. So doing it very simple, you can use batch files and then maybe a task scheduler or something like that. The way I do it, because NC, you can just netcat for Windows. There we go. So if you download this little tool, you can use it on Windows, and you can use the same commands as you can on Linux. But the reason I use a Linux VM is because I run the Domotics, Domotica software inside of it, and I use that to control it and automate it. But it can be done from Windows. You can install Domotics on Windows too, and it's fully Windows compatible as far as that goes. So hopefully that answers your question. Do you get many people from the UK going to Camp Zone? Yeah, we mostly have a few people from the US, Germans, Belgian people, some UK, because you can drive from France to Camp Zone pretty easily because it's in the south. It's in Limburg. So yeah, some, not a lot, maybe like 5 or 8 per year, but there are some. And because they're computer people, I guess I could say nerds, whatever you want to call them, most of them speak English anyway, so English-speaking people should have no problems on the field. And if you go with a group, I think you'll have fun. Can you guys still hook me up when I want to go to Camp Zone for a weekend without a tent? Tent for tentloze nerds is not available anymore. Oh, damn. If that's full, I don't know how I can help you. Sorry. Maybe look for a group or join the Discord, the Camp Zone Discord, and see if there's a group of people you know, or maybe who will want to let you join them, or are looking for more people to fill the tent, maybe something like that. By the way, I like your channel very much. Thank you, PD4Z. I like hearing that. Yeah, good answer. We'll have a look. Followed your tutorial back then, but now I use Domotics on my desktop. I want to integrate Quinn LED onto it. Integrating Quinn LED, even if it's on Windows, should basically be the same. Just make sure to put that little NC program, the netcat program, somewhere which is in your path, basically your command line path. So see Windows System 32, if you dump the exe file in there, you can call the NC command from anywhere, and then it should just work. So where did you make the mat on your desk with your logo? I was waiting for someone to ask that question. I got it from China. It's a custom, well, basically it's a service. You send in a picture and then they make a mouse mat out of it. And I'm not sure what to do yet. Either I'll sell the mouse mats, maybe to generate a little bit of income so I can buy more, things to tinker with for the channel, or I'm sorry. Seems the video was frozen. Thank you, Edwin Broeken. Was the audio also gone? Total power outage. No power outage. I think it has to do with my janky. Oh, let me restart the music too. My janky using an IP camera to stream this. Ah, only the chat work. Yeah, sorry about that. Good that you let me know. Let me see which question I was answering. I was talking about the mouse mat. So let me repeat that very quickly. It's from a Chinese seller where you can send your picture, and for about $25 to $30, they can make a picture of that mouse mat. Mouse mat's 1 meter by half a meter. But I haven't decided yet if I'm going to share a video about how you can do that yourself and get one with your images and text made, or if I'm maybe going to sell mouse pads to make a little cash for the channel so I can buy more stuff to tinker with and stuff like that. I'll get back to the $80 to $100 router question. But Meep said, talk about your next event. Well, I've been talking about CamZone quite a lot, but also talk about what you're going to do there. And I think he means to focus a little bit on something we have more of this year, and that's tinkering. We used to have tinkering in the previous. Oh, corruption in the stream now. Let's hope that goes away. We used to have tinkering on CamZone for a few years now, but this year we rebranded it to HackZone, and there's a special part of the field where you can do all kinds of tinkering projects, and there's lots of people there hacking and tinkering with hardware. And even if you're not very knowledgeable about the subject, make sure to drop by. There will be a lot of people there who know a lot about stuff about hardware and tinkering, and I'll be there. And there's also a special badge project they made this year, where you can buy a kit of components and you can make a really cool badge with LED lights, and it can control all kinds of TVs and lights and stuff like that. So yeah, Hackzone on Campzone. But make sure to check that out if you're going to Campzone, and if you're not going to Campzone, might be a reason to go. So yeah, make sure to check that out. And if you have any questions, always let me know. Checking the Discord is always good, Short. Video and audio desyncing. Video hangs. Frozen. Do you just use Arduino IDE when programming the ESP32? Actually, I haven't decided that yet. My previous on the ESP8266 was based on NodeMCU, so Lua. And on the ESP32, I haven't decided what I'm using yet. Either Expressive's own programming language, Arduino IDE has a good chance to, or maybe I'll use NodeMCU again. I'm not sure about that yet. I've been focusing on the hardware design, and I haven't done any software design yet. So maybe. I don't know yet. I just told everyone about Hexone Meep. So I think, yeah, I'm not sure what else to say about that. So although this IP camera setup seems to be working, okay, I'm back. What does your girlfriend think about all these projects and crazy ideas of you? I think you've spoken to her before, and you know what she thinks about this. She thinks I'm nuts, but as long as I'm having fun, yeah, she thinks it's okay. And nowadays we have a big enough house so that I can keep the projects out of the living areas, and that's helped a lot. So anyone who has this problem, if you can keep the projects separated in different rooms of where she goes, that helps a lot. Broke as it said, it seems to be working. Yeah, I'm not sure why this is happening. I also see some corruption in the image. It worked great the first half hour, so I'm not really sure what's going on. That's the spirit. Girlfriend should not argue about hobby. If you like fill up the whole dining table and the kitchen and everywhere else, I can understand they complain. But I have two separate rooms. I have my office where I'm in now, and I have the garage room where most of my videos are recorded, and I do my hardware tinkering. And as long as most of the crap stays in there, she's okay with it. So that's cool. So when it works, how's the quality of the image? Because although this IP camera is 4K, I'm actually using one of the cameras I showed in my IP camera video. Um, it's only 15 frames per second. Is that a problem or is it watchable? I got a new house with 40 square meters garage for my hobby. That's the spirit. Yeah, that should be enough room to do some projects. The garage is currently filled up with my ultimate overkill desk wood. So I really need to get working on that, but I've postponed that for somewhere after Camp 7. Too bright. Oh, I can fix that. Uh, no, this is brighter. There we go. As long as the camera doesn't auto adjust. I know. Might have to look into that. Is this better? But yeah, 15 people watching. Thanks all for joining. I really appreciate that. Looks much more human now. Okay, well, I guess that's a good thing. Garage is mainly for car electronics hobby work, retrofitting, and coding for VAG. You code for VAG? That's cool. I have a VCDS cable, which I did some edits on my Passat. It's an illegal from China because I didn't want to pay 300-400 euros. But I tried some more stuff with it, but I quickly reversed that because things didn't work out as I thought they would. And Shah Zeb Mukhai, hi, how are you? I probably butchered your name. Cool. So I've been streaming for about an hour now. I think I'll give it another 15 minutes, or we need to touch on a good subject. But as I said, I really appreciate everyone being here. And my camera's flaking out again. I don't know if I can keep it up this long. Yes, I am good, thank you. Always enjoy your stuff. Can't wait for the desk project to finish. Yeah, you and me both. But I've been quite busy, and I've actually had some illness issues in the beginning of the year. So it's on a slow burner, but as I said in my videos, that project is for the rest of the year. So by the end of the year, it should be finished. But videos are coming. If you need more info about coding, send me a message on YouTube or so. Yeah, we'll do. If I want something special, we'll do so. Where do you get your components from and PCBs made? I get most of my PCBs from Dirty PCBs and my components from AliExpress. That's also why I have all my shopping lists for my current projects with links to AliExpress. And a bonus for me is that if you click on those links and you buy a component, it doesn't cost you anything more, but I get a small kickback from that, and with that I can do more projects. So yeah. More live vlogs from the CCN hack zone environment, I guess. Keep up the good work. That might be an idea. We'll look at that during Camp Zone. How did you get into organizing LAN parties? Oh damn. I was 17. No, I was 18. I was 18, and a friend of mine said, "Hey, you want to go to a LAN party?" And I was like, "What the hell is a LAN party?" And before that, we used to go to, we had sometimes 2 or 3 computers at the house. After that, we had something called a computer club, which was like something in a town, in a town hall thingy or a public space with like 8 or 10 people. But you have to imagine this was using like a Commodore 64, Amiga 500s, and well, in Dutch we had an MSX2 from Philips. That's what we had. But that died down after a little while, and then the LAN parties with PCs and networking came. And first I was using coax. So if someone went home, they had to disconnect the coax ring, so that was shit. And then we had 10 Mbit and 100 Mbit. But someone at some point asked me to go to a LAN party and was for like 80 people, and basically immediately after that I was hooked. And I became part of a Dutch organization called Game Party. And after that, for 5 to 10 years, I think I went to 2 or 3 LAN parties a month. So basically every weekend I was doing LAN parties, and I did a lot of networking stuff for LAN parties and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a friend of mine asked, and basically that's how I got started. I think I went to 2 or 3 LAN parties as a visitor, and after that I became part of the organizing part, and I still visited some LAN parties, but basically we started with like 90% or 99% gaming, and nowadays it's maybe 10-15% gaming, 10-15% fun, and the rest is organizing stuff and arranging stuff and things like that. So yeah, met a lot of great people over the years, and still like doing so. Uh, do, do, do. Amiga 1200. That was a Beast remember playing Zool when I was a kid. Cool. Yeah, we had an MSX2. It was graphically was a little bit less than an Amiga, but still fun. And I played with Amigas, and yeah, it was good. Did you have any issues with products from AliExpress? Actually, no. I've had some issues, but I do hundreds of orders a year. I'm kind of hooked on AliExpress, I think. Um, and if I ever have an issue, basically it always gets resolved. They either sent me the product again if I didn't get it. I had that with my LED lights in the previous video. If it's broken or breaks fairly quickly after receiving it, I've never had an issue with getting my money back or getting another one. I've had refunds for products which didn't turn out to be what they said they would be. So if you ever have any issue, make a dispute, and most of the times you'll get those resolved. I think over the years I've had one product I didn't get my money back or something, but I was late with it myself. It was only €2 or €3, so I didn't really care anyway. Um, so no, I enjoy buying on AliExpress, and I mostly have good experience. So yeah. Is your house finished, or is there still work to do? Asks Rock Rogue Creek Creekston. Ah, a house you build is never finished. So if people ask, I mostly say I'm at like 90 to 95%, and I think it'll stay like that forever because there's all kinds of projects I do. Okay, so like I'm sitting at a desk right now, but if you look at this part, this is part of the Ultimate Overkill desk. So there's always projects, and I have a lot of projects I had planned, and some new projects that pop up, and there's always some stuff to do. I probably make a new video about the house after so many years, and stuff I did with integrating LEDs in my stairways or things like that. But it's a lot harder to make videos of a house you actually live in because, well, off camera there's crap at places, and you have to clean up and move all your stuff out of the way, make it look at least a little bit decent. So maybe in the future, but mostly about projects like lighting I'm doing, the desk I'm doing, and IP cameras I'm doing, and stuff like that. So probably videos will stay coming about house and projects around the house. Are there going to be any more videos about that? Yeah, as I said, projects, but I'm not sure about the house itself, but probably. As a house is never finished. Yeah, that's right, Tolly. Um, I actually got a comment today on a video who said, let me check. A question, don't you mind that people can find your address if they look for a few minutes? Yeah, that's always been a choice. If you put yourself on YouTube, especially if you put your house on YouTube and stuff like that, I don't have the illusion that people couldn't find where I lived if they really wanted to. But I live pretty remotely, and if people start showing up here, well, my cameras will capture them, and I'm not really too bothered by it. If you want to meet me, just send me a message, and I don't know, go to Camp Zone. I'll be there. That's a great place to meet. So, um, yeah. So it's just a random note about the house from a comment I got today. When did you first get into making YouTube videos? Um, that's a good question. I don't know. Video management. Let me look that up. May 2016. So that's 2 years and 3 months. Oh wow, that video, my first video about the MikroTik WAP-AC, of which I have 5 in my house, it got 13,000 views. That's nice. So yeah, 2 years and 2 months ago, something like that. And I've been, that's actually a funny bit. Does anyone of you know why my channel is called Intermittent Technology? I'll wait for that. But yeah. Can they really figure out where your house address just by looking at the house on YouTube? Maybe not by the house, by just looking at YouTube, but if you watch multiple of my videos, I show the surroundings a bit, and I maybe mention once or twice in the area where I live. And if you look around for Quindor on the internet and stuff like that, I have no doubt that you could find it if you really wanted to. But then again, it's not really a secret. And if you're a weirdo who wants to show up at the door, uh, I guess. But I'm not too worried about it. By the way, your English is very good for a Dutchie. Thank you. I try. I try to talk without having a potato in my mouth because I can talk slecht English, but yeah, I try not to. But thanks. I think it's because I do a lot of with English software, and I've been to America, as I said, 8 or 9 times. I think I picked it up there. I don't know. I started English talking English at a very young age, so it's called intermittent technology because not everything works every time when building stuff yourself. That's not it. Although that is true, that's not the reason why. Anyone else want to take a guess? This camera is working, but it's a bit glitchy. My English is not very well, maar het komt nog wel. You make it May. Any guesses about the intermittent technology? Did you work for Innotek, who do control systems for Intamin rides? So it's a mashup of the names. I have no clue what or who those people are, so no. At least you're a lot better than Louis van Gaal. Okay, thanks. I don't know. Oh, he's probably a Dutch TV person. I don't really watch television, uh, so I think I know his name, but yeah. No, it's hard for me to guess. Okay, so the reason it's called intermittent technology, I haven't shared this before, or at least not online. Um, I'm very bad at doing something con consequently. Well, at this all the time. Most of the time, I'll get spurts where I would make blog posts because that's how I started, and then I'd write nothing for months, and then I'd write 5 posts in a month, and then I'd write nothing for months again. And I was like, how should I call my blog or how should I call my YouTube channel? I was like, intermittent technology. Sometimes I work on it and I make blog posts and I make videos and I do all kinds of stuff. And then suddenly 2 months, I don't do any of that stuff. And then a month later, I make a lot of videos and a lot of blog posts again. So I don't have a constant flow. It's very intermittent. And that's how I came up with intermittent technology. He's really butchering the English. I can butcher the English if I want to, but I generally try to talk well English. Yes, must talk the English well because otherwise people no understand. Yes. Okay. Any other questions about maybe IP cameras or computer related or Quinn LED, phone chargers? I don't know. How do you people like the? I do pretty diverse topics, I guess. They're all tech related, but um, I wonder about that. Like, yeah, I do the phone charger reviews, and I think a lot of people find those boring unless they're looking for it. And then I have my projects like the Ultimate Desk project and the Road to Ryzen and my patching cabinet and stuff like that. And then I have my Quinn LED series and my PC building series and stuff like that. Do you mind that the content is so diverse, and do you just watch what you like? Or does it put you off and you think about unsubscribing? Or how does that work for you guys? I caught one of your rants on G.Skill RAM and I was hooked. Cool, thanks. Those G.Skill vids were really nice. Well, I think I'm not 100% sure, but during the Road to Ryzen, I think I had two world premieres. One was the Ryzen sleep bug, that if I went into sleep mode, it would come back and the clock would be skewed because of a BIOS or microcode bug. And it would show my processor running at 4.3 or 4.6 gigahertz, which was completely impossible, but the benchmark results were showing it. And they even talked about that on Linus Tech Tips, and the AMD patch notes actually mentions the Ryzen sleep bug, which was the name I gave to it. So that was cool. And I think I was also one of the first, or the first, to figure out that Ryzen in combination with the G.Skill memory was killing the G.Skill RAM by overriding the SPDs. And then the rants came because G.Skill was being a bitch about their RMA not wanting to replace my modules because I was toying with them or modifying them myself, which was total nonsense. They should have just written better software, designed better hardware. Um, so yeah, I basically still don't touch the G.Skill RGB utility because I'm afraid it'll corrupt the SPD information on the RAM again. But those were good times. I had some rants there. I mean, they should just provide good service or make better products, or basically do both. Um, how many ESP devices do you have in your house? Ook Nederlander met slecht Engels hier. I have about 14 running all the time. And those are all 2-channel LED dimmers. And they do everything from my outside lights, you probably saw those videos, my spotlights in the ceiling, my LED strips. Basically, all the lights we use in the house are using the Quinn LED system in Domotics. So 14 modules divided over LED strips, outside lights, and kitchen spotlights and stuff like that. Kicking G.Skill in the balls, yeah. Well, they're just being a bitch, and they never reply to me, and that's one of the things I hate most. I don't mind if you make faults or if you do a misdiagnosis or whatever. Just own up to it. I mean, just say, okay, yeah, we made a problem, or this is a bug, or we're going to fix it. But they never acknowledged it. They never apologized, and they never came back to me, even while I mailed them multiple times with, yeah, okay, we fixed the bug, or we fixed this or that, or whatever. So even up till this day, I have no idea if they fixed it or not because they've never communicated about it, and they've never made an official statement, and they've never put anything on their website. So I still tell people G.Skill RGB RAM looks pretty, don't touch the software. And if you do, it's a risk. And I think by now they know this happens, so they won't make such a fuss over replacing the modules, but I had a really horrible time with them. I like their RAM, but how secure are these IP cameras? What are the best practices to secure them? Good question. I think the Dahua cameras are pretty good. They bring out pretty recent firmware updates. I got one a month ago or so. And they also have security patches in them. Um, but I have used Chinese version cameras for longer than that, and also non-Dahua or non-brand one actually. And what I normally do is I create a different subnet and I put the cameras in that subnet, and then in my firewall I deny that subnet access to the internet. And then my NVR will have an IP in my local subnet and the camera subnet, or I'll use it arrange firewall rules on my router firewall. Um, So basically, the cameras can only be accessed by the NVR, and I can access the NVR from the internet. So that's basically how I deal with security. Sorry, I run a local NTP server on my MikroTik routers, so that's how they get their time. And basically, they can't access internet, so there's no security issues. Is there any chance you could do a behind the scenes of one of your LAN parties? I did. I made a behind the scenes of the party in 2017, and I made a behind the scenes of CampZone in also. Sorry, camera froze again. Um, what's the last part you caught? So what's the last part I was talking about before it froze? Was it the 8 megapixel cam question? Okay, so I have two LAN party videos. Um, I should have a playlist about LAN parties, and that's a behind the scenes of the party. That's 1,000 people indoor LAN party. And didn't hear jack about 8 megapixel cams. Okay, don't worry. And there should be a behind the scenes video about CampZone last year, which talks about the network and the power and stuff like that. So just check on my channel and the playlist, and you should be able to find it. So you want to run two 8 megapixel cameras, and you're wondering if it'll degrade your internet access. Normally, you don't stream those cameras over internet unless you're looking remotely. So unless you open the streams on your cell phone or something like that remotely, no, it shouldn't degrade your internet. And if you do watch them remotely, basically once you set up the cameras, I have them in H.265 mode, and I have them set to 5 megabits. So depending on how many cameras you watch at the same time, mostly it'll be one on your cell phone, that'll cause 5 megabits of upload traffic. So depending on what kind of internet connection you have, that will suffice or not. And then he has a follow-up question, I believe. And I believe these IP cameras are connected wirelessly, or is it wired to a router? The ones I use and I show in my video, those are all cabled. I don't see the purpose of wireless cameras because a wireless camera will still need a power jack. So if you need to get power to the camera, why not use a network cable which has power on it and data? Unless you absolutely can get there with a network cable with PoE, then I guess you could use wireless, but I don't think there will be any wireless 8 megapixel cameras, but we'll have to look into that. But even if you do use a wireless 8 megapixel camera, that'll put a 5 Mbit strain on your wireless network. And that can, because wireless is a shared medium, that can slow down wireless for everything at the same time connected. So I wouldn't advise that. Wireless only when it's absolutely impossible to get a cable there. I'd sooner recommend using Ethernet over power adapters if you can't get a cable there. So maybe look into that. Do you have a VPN service running on a device at home? Yeah, my MikroTik router runs several VPN protocols actually, and mostly that suffices. So I just VPN into my MikroTik router, and that connects me to my network. So yeah. Actually, I have a pretty interesting setup. My MikroTik router also makes VPN connections to the outside world using private internet access. And I have a public SSID, a wireless network around and in my house. So guests or people who are outside or construction workers, etc., they can just join an open network. And I have some firewall rules set up that any traffic that comes from that SSID, it immediately gets pushed through the private internet access tunnel, so it gets anonymized, and I really can't be bothered what they do over that public access point or SSID, and I throttle the bandwidth, and that's how I provide a little bit of service to the neighborhood. And yeah, so I do some stuff with VPNs. What if your local router is breached? Can the attacker see your IP camera feed? Um, I guess, yeah. But then if he's on my network, uh, no matter what kind of security you build, if you can watch your IP camera feeds, well, anyone who breaks into your network can too. Um, so yeah, but if he breaks into my LAN, normally I have disabled that most IPs can access the IP cameras directly. They can just access the NVR. So if he basically plugged in a cable, he still wouldn't be able to reach those IP cameras unless he knew a specific IP to go from or also breach my NVR. But yeah. Do, do, do. Roger, that makes sense. How about if I work from the office on a common server in the house? Not sure where you're getting at, but that's also, you said wired switch, PoE. Whoops, you weren't talking to my bad. Bill, I'm not sure what you're getting at. Are you talking about the accessing the cameras remotely, or let me know. Do you going to make some videos about Sonoff like Sonoff Touch? I have some Sonoff. Sorry, video stopped again. I guess it's the gods telling me that this stream needs to end in a little bit. um, I was talking about Sonoff. I have some Sonoffs to tinker with, and I might reflash them to ESP Easy at some point and use them in Domotics. But I haven't really had a use for them yet. I just have them lying around because I wanted to toy with them. Um, so maybe in the future, but don't have any plans right now. Can you make a video? Oh wait, I was referring to the question I had about the internet bandwidth. Ah, yeah. Um, yeah, so basically if you have the cameras at your house and you watch them at your house, no internet bandwidth gets used. Only if you watch them remotely or record them remotely, then you would use internet bandwidth, and the bandwidth that gets used is the amount you set in the cameras. And as I set mine to 5 megabits. So if you have like a 20 megabit or a 200/20 megabit connection, it'll use 10 of that 20 megabit upload. I hope that answers your question. Can you make a video setup about your router VPN setup? I'm really interested. I might do that in the future, but then I'll probably focus it around MikroTik, but maybe in the future. If you're streaming the IP cameras over a local LAN, I really wouldn't bother, or the amount of influence that can have is very low. Most of the time, your network will be gigabit, so 1000 megabits, and per camera, it would use 5 megabits of traffic. So 1000, if you have two cameras, minus 10 is 990. basically you won't even notice that. Even with 10 cameras, it'll be 50 megabits. On your local network, that really doesn't matter at all. Even if it's the same server and it only has one network card doing the recording, don't worry about it. If it's going through the internet and you have like 20 megabit upload and you have two cameras using 5 Mbit and you record it remotely, yeah, you'll lose half your upload, so it effectively becomes 10. And you might notice that doing some stuff. So it depends, yeah. You find the Sonoff Touch ugly, you want to modify them. Yeah, I haven't done any videos about that, but as I said, I have some, maybe in the future, but I'm sure there's other videos about that. Can you recommend a good HDD spindle for a Soho NOS that is still affordable? Um, I've heard good things about WD Reds, although my experience with them is that they often die after 3 years. So my personal experience isn't that good with them, but I have a lot of them helium, um, the helium Seagate Iron Wolf drives, and those have been working very well for me. I think I have about 7 10 terabyte ones and 4 12 terabyte ones, spread out over different machines. And those have been working very well for me. So look into the Seagate Iron Wolf line. Those should be good. Also, they're 7200 RPM with big caches, and WD Reds, for instance, are 5400 or 5900 RPM with smaller caches. So if you do other stuff than just simple NAS work, it might be interesting to get the Iron Wolf drives because they should have better performance than the other drives. But that's a personal opinion. Why do you like Domotics? Don't know. I got started with it about 2.5, 3 years ago, and I've stuck with it ever since. It's been running my home automation, and it's been working perfectly. So I really haven't had a reason to look for something else. Um, I have been hearing a lot of things about OpenHab, I believe, and Home Wizard. Not sure. So I might look into that in the future, but right now I'm happy with Domotics, so that's why I've stuck with it. Please, I'm also interested about router setup and VNC setup plus firewall setup, especially in VM. Maybe in the future, but as I said, if I do, it'll probably be around MikroTik equipment and how to set up certain things in that. Or maybe general network topology, and then you can build that in whatever hardware or software you want. If I record video on an NVR like MikroTik, have you ever set up a way to upload this video to the cloud net every night at a specific time to avoid congesting the network during peak hours? I guess you could do that, but it all depends on the amount of upload bandwidth you have available. Let's say you record 4 cameras of 5 Mbit each, you get 20 megabits a second. And if you store that locally and then want to send to the internet, and if you want to send 8 hours of footage for all those cameras, it'll take 8 hours if you have 20 megabits of upload. So it's not really feasible to upload everything at a later date. But you could look into maybe doing some motion detection and then uploading only that footage. And I think NX Witness should be able to do that. I haven't looked into that yet. But maybe you could look into doing something like that. Or maybe you could do motion detection on the cameras and use FTP to send it online immediately. And then have an NVR also recorded locally. So you have it 2 ways. But no, I just keep the footage local. Sorry, I just keep the footage local on a ZFS array. So yeah. I have my NX Witness running in a virtual machine on an ESX server. I've had it on KVM before too. And as I said, I write it locally over NFS to my storage server here. So that's how I do my storage. Placed the desktop PC in garage. The new LAN cable, alle kabels, was not good, and I just got 100 Mbit. Did you get a CCA cable, copper-clad aluminium, so no copper actually? You really have to watch out when buying cables. When I was downloading some stuff, the NVR software crashed. Was good troubleshooting error. Oh, I'm not sure what went wrong there, but still, that setup should be perfectly possible. I saw that more people in the Netherlands that use Domotics than OpenHub and other hubs. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe is Domotics a Dutch development? I think it's open source now and it's all over the world. But maybe it originated here. I don't know. But it's one of the first software I came into contact with when I was looking for something to use with my dimmers. Sorry. And it was easy enough to write a plugin for it or write some extension code for it to use it with my dimmers and make a nice slider and stuff like that. So that's why I use that. I can show you real quick. So if you have your house full of Quinn LED modules, after a while, it'll look a little bit like this. So you'll have lots of sliders and switches and stuff like that. And I have some scenes here, which do basically, I have zones which I made. So the hallway or outside or the bathroom or the living room, etc. And then I have a day, evening and night scene. And those all set certain lamps or certain dimmers to certain positions. And that's how basically the house, it turns on an hour before sunset. It turns off around 1 o'clock at night or goes into night mode basically. And then during the morning, 1 hour after sunrise, it automatically turns everything off. And that's been working perfectly for me. So, yeah. Do you use ESXi for managing your virtual machines? I have an ESXi server, but that's mostly because I've been using that for years. A few years back, that was just the best thing there was. Also, I use VMware a lot in my work, so it's good to have one at home to build some test machines, but also learn some VMware stuff, etc. But nowadays, my preferred hypervisor is Proxmox. You can run it for free, and it fulfills most of my needs. And yeah, I like it a lot. I like the integration with ZFS and stuff like that. So if you're looking into hypervisors, make sure to look at Proxmox. I like running that. So I also have a Proxmox server running here at home. We need a Domotics Netherlands meeting. Maybe we can have one at CampZone. I use good quality cable, pure copper in the walls, but the patch cable did miss a pair. Oh, well, if you miss a pair, 100 Mbit only needs 2 pairs, but gigabit needs 4. So yeah, it needs 8 cables. Did look afterwards in the logging from NVM, was complaining about bandwidth errors. Yeah, 100 Mbit isn't much at all anymore these days, but gigabit is still most of the time plenty. So yeah, good starting point for speed test. I'm a fan of Domotics. See, we have more Domotics fans. Good. Okay, well, we actually still have 20 people watching. And I'm looking at my status stream. Stream is healthy. Okay. Yeah, I'll give it another 10 minutes and then I'm heading off because I have an appointment in the morning. As I said, I'm going to test the internet for CampZone. Any last questions? Tell me if you like this stream. Would you like to have streams more often so we can do some Q&As like this? And yeah, do you like this kind of thing? How much roughly does Quinn LED? Oh, roughly. Quinn LED, the current version to build costs less than $5 per module, and then you have a 2-channel dimmer. The problem is though that components you need to buy, like the boards and the ESPs and all the little parts on the boards, etc., those are more. So if you build like 5 or 6, it's less than $5 per board. But if you only need 1 or 2, it'll probably cost you about $20 in total to get all the components together, and then you can build 2 or 3 boards or something like that. So it depends on how many you build, but that's something you need to look at. Will you talk about your work in the future? Um, Maybe, if there's interest in that, I could do some subjects about that. Are you talking about storage or VMware or networking or LAN parties? What subject would you like to hear about or see videos about? Pyros fixes? Thank you. I order my PCBs from Dirty PCBs, but if you check my videos, uh, they should have links to my blog articles. And in the blog articles, all the hardware you need and where to get the boards and all the components and where to get them with links to AliExpress, etc. It's all in there. So you can get the PCBs there. Going to kitchen. Okay. Everyone have a great day, afternoon, night. See you on the next video. Cool. Thanks for hanging around, William. I like the Q&A part of this live stream. Great. Thanks, PD4Z. A group buy of the parts in PCB. I'm into it. Yeah. So Quinn LED and also the new versions of Quinn LED is mostly designed around the idea that I want people to be able to build it themselves. So I don't use that many small SMD components and stuff like that, because I want people to tinker with it and toy with it themselves. And I'll do the hardware design and software and stuff like that, but I want to have them to have fun and learn by actually building it themselves. Um, but maybe a group buy in the future, or I could provide kits if that's easier, but that would always come with a little cost premium because I would have to do it. Um, and yeah, so and AliExpress, especially if you can buy most components per 5 or something like that, it should be doable. You want videos about VMware? I might look into that, but as I said, currently I'm more into Proxmox, for instance, so I might choose to do more videos about Proxmox instead of VMware. But it's good to know. How to reach you if we have any questions on hardware or networking. I don't mind answering some questions, but I often don't have the time to go into it very deeply. But the best way to reach me is go to Intermit.Tech or http://intermit.tech, and in the top bar, let me show you my screen. In the top bar, it says About Me and Contact, and there you can say Contact. And yeah, here you can write me a message. And I'll get that in my email box, and I'll respond when I can. Or just place comments on my videos or blog articles. I always try to answer those too. No, I will not fix your computer. Because if I did that, I would have no time to make videos or do anything else at all, ever. So if it's interesting, and I try to help people, but I really can't do anything remotely or write large emails on how to fix things or stuff like that. Sometimes it actually gives me a good idea for a video. And as I said, I like comments and I like replying to them, but if I have to start diagnosing and fixing a lot of stuff, it's just going to take too much time. I'd love to do it, but yeah. A workshop meet could be a lot of fun. I've thought about that as I've been thinking about doing live streams for a while now too. But I kind of want to build my audience a bit more. So maybe when I'm at 10K or 20K followers, if I ever get there. But the channel's been growing, and we're about, I don't know how many subscribers we are, 4,400 or something like that. And I'm very happy with that. And yeah, next month meeting in Utrecht. Now, next month I'll be at CampZone. So if you want to meet me, feel free to come to CampZone and I'll say hi and shake your hand. Yeah. You can look at Hackzone and yeah. So anyone who wants to meet me, come to CampZone. I did that in the past. I grew tired because of all the computer stuff. Yeah, that's the problem. I know, well, that sounds a bit ego, but I know quite a lot about computers and Windows and hardware and fixing things and stuff like that. And if people know that, well, they don't mean to take advantage of it, I think. Oh, I see the music stopped. But you get questions from so many different people and areas and stuff like that that after a while you'll just be helping people all the time. And although that's kind and good, uh, it doesn't leave much room for anything else. So yeah, this stream has been going on for a while, and I'm giving it another 4 minutes, and then I'm really hitting the quit button. So thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. It's one of my first times I can actually talk with my followers. So that's basically why I did this now. And I might do more streams in the future with either Q&As or maybe specific subjects. But I really like to be able to, converse with you guys. 5 ploegendienst. Never been to CampZone or other things like that. Well, CampZone, if you actually want to visit me, that'd be cool. But I have the night shift, so I don't do mornings. just so you know. To work on my draaiorgels, oh, you have a very different job than I have. Cool though. Can you make a complete setup of Proxmox for firewall, virtual switches, not network for IP? Oh wow. Yeah, I'll be doing a series more about the IP cameras and NVRs, and it's maybe a good idea that I do one using Proxmox and running the NVR on that and setting up a storage network within it, etc., etc. So I might do that in the future. Thank you and bye. Bye bye. Thank you. Bedankt. Zometeen wel rusten. Yeah, I need to head to bed. I really enjoyed building of your home from Morocco. Cool. That's somewhere else. Homes over there are probably built very differently, but thanks. So, yeah, 2 minutes, and then I'll head off. What do you think about U-division houses? I don't know. I have to Google that. UD. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't seem to be able to Google it. Subdivision. Oh, let me see. I don't know. I don't know what that specifically means. So I don't know what I think about them. Fix SSL on my website. Is it? Oh, I don't have SSL turned on. Oh, that's a good one, Short. I'll look into that in the future. It's hosted at TransIP. You probably know it. So it shouldn't be too hard. Okay, well, last minute here. Again, I really appreciate all the comments and viewers here and viewing my videos. Night from the UK. Thanks for the stream. Cheers, Chevers Steve. Thank you. So that'll be it. Houses are close together in the community of clubhouse and a pool. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not really that community kind of guy, so it wouldn't be something for me. But I think for a lot of other folks, it could work well. Ah, yeah. Also, fix you up. We host quite a few sites. Oh, cool. I'll figure it out in the future when I have some time. But thanks for the offer. So that's it for tonight. It's a quarter till 1 here, and I think this has been a great first live stream. Thank you all very much for attending, and I'll put it up as a video on the channel. And as I said, for the next month or so, content will probably be very slow because I'll be busy either preparing for Camp Zone or working at Camp Zone and tinkering and having fun at Camp Zone and stuff like that. I'm hoping to do a Camp Zone video. Yeah, so if you don't see a lot of videos from me, that's why. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the future. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.